Hello, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about Chuggaconroy, who is a creator who has been doing like Pokemon and other type of stuff. He had been embroiled in some controversy in the past. We're just going to go over the controversy itself. It says, I'll continue to joke with you if you want. I just sort of happened. I got the vibe. You were enjoying it. You were playing along. And I like doing this sort of thing. So I feel like we're going on the same page here, but I guess due to just now how it is in hindsight, I want to tell you this was just a game being forward with you because I'd rather not keep anything from you and let you make the best decision for you. I am into that, but only with a significant other. I just also like talking about shoes with people because it's also an interest. I talked with my significant other about this when we started dating, and she told me I can talk about shoes with other people because it isn't sexual with my friends. It's just something I enjoy talking about with my friends too. I just want to be able a lot to share, to have a lot to share, and things like that. This is Chuggaconroy. January 2024, multiple misconduct allegations came up against him, including accusations of sexual harassment, generic harassment, not respecting boundaries. Very well. Most of the allegations involved uncomfortable behavior on Emile's part. Emile is the person's name. Revolving around discussion of shoes and or feet, which led to speculation that Emile has a foot fetish. There was also an instance of alleged grooming and PDF stuff involving a girl 15 years of age, supposedly. The earliest allegation is that it took place in 2010. They started after a video essayist Lady Emily. We're going to look at her stuff. There was a huge backlash with him. Apparently, they were doing foot fetish roleplay, that type of stuff. So that, in and of itself, affected him greatly. It affected everything greatly. She had a big fallout. There was January 2010 to August of the same year. Emile had a conversation on AIM, which is AOL Instant Messenger. It's very old, with a 15-year-old fan known as Lolly, who Lawly, who liked Mother Let's Plays. Oh, his mother Let's Plays. In addition to Pokemon Let's Plays, as well as his Let's Plays of Super Mario RPG, etc. She and Emile started talking because of a YouTube video that Lolly released in 2009, which he said quotes from Gigias in Earthbound. Emile commented on the video saying it makes Gigas sound 10 times creepier to have small girl's voice, which is why he loved it so much. That can also be seen as kind of odd to be saying that at all, and I can understand some people will see that as odd. Everything continued, and to stay in contact with each other for years in a Discord conversation from 2021. Emile asked her to roleplay with him the same way they did years before. Lolly archived her original conversations with Emile, which are shown here. Some of them are shown here. What are you doing? I'm forgetting something. Are you bullying me again? Cries. And this is, him with everybody that he knows and the type of allegations that came against him. All this caused a lot of bad situations happening where, he had things with Lady Emily, who befriended him. There were a lot of situations that happened of him just not getting the right words through, or not getting the right understanding, and seeming very creepy. So he goes over this himself. He goes over everything that happened. Here's something that was also put up here, which says, don't I get to see you in them? Basically getting pictures of other people's feet and the shoes and stuff like that. So this happened a lot. This happened a lot here. Big and Stinky, you got it all. All because I got a message from someone I saw as a friend while I had COVID, trying to assure me that his fetish stuff was a fetish, but not sexual with me, and quickly tried to end the convo and move on before consulting others. This is where things started going bad. You can't say you disavow it while still contributing to the overall culture of harassment and misinformation. You can't spread lies about me, call me evil, say I deserve to call up a call-out post, and tweet almost exclusively about me, and say you disavow this stuff. Only statement I want to make is that I wish the best for health and recovery for Chuggaconroy. This is Goose, and those he affected. Please stop asking me about this. Do not use my business email to pry. I understand if I don't respond to these type of questions, people are starting to bug them, pretty much. Sorry for how you were treated by him, both during and after. You didn't deserve it. I hope you're doing better. I love you, Fushi. You have my support. Astral Chemist, Alchemist said, some people liking my hashtag, but it's true. We are with you, Chuggaconroy. Other people were basically giving him support, as you can see here. We're too quick to burn others at the stake, getting one side and not the other. That definitely is something that I have seen. It happens a lot on YouTube. It happens a lot in general, and it's something that people will do to you if you give them the opportunity to do things like that to you. You just can't give them that opportunity. So we're going to go down to the specific things. Statements from accusers. Lady Emily says, F it, just got to get it off my chest. Last year, Chuggaconroy kept trying to get me to initiate erotic foot fetish roleplay with him, while he also had a girlfriend. This included sending shoes to my house under the guise of a gift, only to constantly ask for feet pics afterwards. Eventually, I started ignoring him because I wasn't sure how to navigate around him, clearly trying to blank me into fetish stuff and return his messages to me got more frequent and aggressive. As far as I know, I'm not the only one, nor the first person he's done this with. He would try to assure me everything is fine while also clearly trying to initiate fetish italicized text RP. It started with him attending my Pokemon Black streams last December and chatting. We started talking in DMs because he seemed chill. Then on June 4th, I uploaded a selfie and he suddenly, and he zoomed into my streams in the background and messaged me about them. Convos would then derail suddenly. Often we would just start talking about Nintendo games and it would often shift immediately to feet talk. He's very persistent in commenting on how big my feet are, try to respond with blunt jokes to make vibes less creepy. And here it says on January 16th, Emily was browsing the comments of a Reddit post regarding the completionist charity fraud controversy on a subreddit that allegedly hated her, our YouTube drama. While she was looking into the drama in the comments, Emily came across a comment thread talking about YouTubers who many considered to be green flags, one of which was Emile, and Emily set Emily off, and he was, talking. She ended up talking about everything that happened, made tweets about the whole situation. The masaeanela one. After a number of people who inquired about Chuggaconroy over MagFest, I feel like I need to make this clear. I have not associated with Emile for years, nor are we friends. Any cameo Splatoon 2 recorded before the falling out, interaction mentioned, Coliseum Twitch chat, and posted done without my consent after I had made it clear that I did not want to be associated with him. I am uncomfortable with the way he has talked to and about me in the past, which has been a huge point of distress. Combined with the way he's spoken to about others, particularly women, in private and public, it is concerning and I do not want to associate with that behavior. Emile has historically been one to push boundaries, and being faced with a following as large as his, absolutely harrowing. Even establishing my own personal boundaries carries an inherent risk. For a long time, not rocking the boat felt like safer option. I have been seen the recent posts and his apology. I probably received several from him over the years, and I've rung hollow with his actions. I'm tired of hearing it. I have no more chances to give. I am exhausted from pretending, politely dodging topics that he has brought up. For my own comfort and safety, I will not be attending events that he will be at unless it is a public space, and I am able to avoid him, large scale conventions. I have not seen him in years. I have no intention to start again now. To those who have unknowingly asked me questions about him, either at MagFest, in private, or in chat comments, I hold absolutely no ill will and do not fault you. But moving forward, I will be reciprocating discussions about Emile further in any capacity. My personal line in the sand I made because I no longer want to quietly tolerate people speaking for me, assuming the wrong things, or incorrectly associating us as friends and collaborators. To those who may have also been hurt, I empathize with you and I wish you all strength. So these are all the things that have been happening with this. Ant Dude and Miss Fish Gaming, Emile and I were friends in the past, like way longer than what we believe. But many actions over the last few years have created a considerable wedge. From my perspective, he's not somebody I'd want to be associated with going forward. The long and short of it is Emile is occasionally trying to get closer to me, and only once he started sending off, putting text to my girlfriend, things like that. It just got worse and worse and worse. Emily, the claims are from Emily. Emile persistently attempts to initiate erotic foot fetish roleplay with her despite her disinterest. Masae claims she is uncomfortable with the way Emile has talked to about her in the past, and Emile has historically been the one to push boundaries. Ant Dude claims Emile sent off-putting texts to his girlfriend. This allegation was later debunked by Tim, so this was the Ant Dude was debunked. Claims Emile had made her uncomfortable. This is Miss Fushi Gaming on many occasions, including being sent off-putting texts by him. Allegation was later debunked by Tim. So again, another debunked claim, a lot of debunked claims. This is what I'm getting at. A lot of these things were debunked later on. Claims she had contact with Emile when she was 15 and he was 19 back during the early 2010s, and feels that due to being a minor at the time, the way in which he spoke to her was unacceptable. It was later debunked by Emile. So a lot of these things seemed like someone had it against them. I know how that feels. Someone can have it against you. But let's see in his own words what's going on. Here is Emile's Google Doc, or at least the way that we have it today. Hey everybody, it's been a long time since I last shared anything with all of you. But now I feel ready to give an update on how I've been doing and clear up speculation on some incidents that have been brought up since my last message. Whenever something blows up online, people make a lot of incorrect assumptions based on not knowing the full story and often assume the worst possible context. Very true. I would like to start by clearing up these misconceptions. I haven't wanted to reveal information about others, but I think at this point it's best that everything is out in the open. Also very true. I have removed irrelevant personal information as I only want to say as much as needed in order to set the record straight. Please do not bother anyone I name here. I do not want others to experience what I went through. I've already asked the people to not harass my accusers, and it's disappointing to see it's ignored or not respected. I truly don't want anyone to be attacked over this, and I respect them for that. This is defense for him regarding Masae, and he has every right to put this out here. Masae and I dated for 10 years and we were engaged to be married. It fell apart about 3 years ago now. In every video you've ever seen of us together in, I was her boyfriend and our friends all knew about it. You're probably wondering how this stayed secret for so long. We both wanted our private lives to be hidden at the beginning. After engagement, I wanted to share it, but Masae stayed firm that it was remain private. She was never clear to me as to why, but I respected her wishes until it was necessary to clear it up. We loved each other, and I thought the world of her, but we had a difficult breakup. Losing her was the hardest thing I've ever gone through. I regret how emotional I got and the way I handled it. This is what happened between us. We would both like to never hear about each other again, and I sympathize with her getting bombarded about my situation after the breakup. The feelings she expressed go both ways, and I don't wish to be associated with her going forward in any capacity either. So it was a bad breakup, from what we can tell. As for her video cameo after the breakup, I did that because I believed we were still friends and just taking a break from each other, but when she told me she didn't want them, I stopped. I have strong feelings about the way it was said, but I'm asking you nicely to not run away with speculation about her, because I know what it feels like. And if you feel bad for enjoying our old videos, don't. I still look back on them fondly, and personally assure you that we were happy and having fun with them. And the time for that is over now. It's just over now. Regarding Lady Emily. In 2023, Emily contacted me through a friend and spelled out conversations made her feel. I was shocked by it, apologized to her and to some friends I had done similar things with. It was well received among the people I talked to, and I always say here that I'm so sorry to anyone who hasn't heard this from me. I hope to tell you on my own terms, this was generally the first time this behavior was met so negatively to my face. At the time, I was told that this would not go public as long as I never did it again, which I have not done since. I took it to heart and sought professional help immediately, which is very smart. They should seek professional help whenever something like that happens. I feel like S for months and I was seeing a therapist about it every week. And by the start of January, I felt like I was making some great strides in improving. I took Emily's words seriously and was doing my best to take responsibility, but unfortunately, it all ended up going public anyways. It crushed me inside. Despite my efforts, Emily made many others would see me as irredeemable. I want to dispel a few things said about me by Emily. I didn't ask her for foot pictures constantly. I asked once if I could see a picture of her wearing the shoes I bought her, which I honestly didn't realize would make her uncomfortable. I've gone through our logs and couldn't find any evidence of the claim that I was constantly asking or that it was of her bare feet. I don't think it was fair to summarize it was a fair summary of the chats. My kink does not define every aspect of my life. I bought Emily's shoes because she told me hers were damaged and needed replacing. Then told me it was almost her birthday half an hour later. It was a spur of the moment and I just wanted to help out a friend. I also made jokes about feet and bought shoes for most of my friends throughout my life, even for people like Tim. Chuggaconroy, nice sneakers, great Cheshire. Lol, thank you. I need new ones, to be honest. My everyday pair is starting to see some damage. Seems sadly typical due to thin fabric. Yeah, the curse of liking the shoes that aren't durable. Got them on sale though for 20 bucks. Can't complain. Hope you're feeling well. Hey, thank you. I just finished editing a video that was nuts to make. The break here is just talking about my video. Do you have any goings on other than having holes in your shoes? Not much. Got back from Vancouver last week, visited Blank and stayed with them. That was a wonderful time. Besides that, it's just been setting back in, playing Zelda, and trying to figure out why my month is going to look like plan-wise. How wonderful that is. I hope you're having a fantastic Pride Month too. You deserve so much. How wonderful. Let's see. Thank you. It's my birthday. My birth month too. Hopefully it's a good one. When's your birthday? June 19th. Civil Rights Day. So like, do you have a P.O. box? Not at the moment. No. Well, I was going to see if you could partake in birthday niceness. Well, it's very kind of you. You can just have my address if you want. Oh wow, didn't expect that. Well, so we're on a street address basis. So this person felt comfortable enough to give them the street address. This is not something where if someone's feeling uncomfortable. If you're going to give your street address, which doxes you, you are not uncomfortable with this person. This just seems weird to turn it on him like this. Oh wow, didn't expect that. Lol, but I trust you. You're a friend. Thanks. I've thought of you as a fast friend too. Happy to hear that. Oh, have you been playing Zelda any? Of course I have. About 80 shrines. Oh wow, damn. I know how many I have. A lot I thought for a full stamina bar and 11 hearts. You can see on the loading screen. According to this, I've done 54. Good work. If I may be so bold, sneaker size? Oh, generally around women's 10. Give it or take a little. Nice. Yeah. Okay, so they bought shoes. He bought shoes for this person. So here we go. She would encourage my roleplay and jokes about shoes and even consented I participated. I checked in multiple times to make sure it was really okay, and I trusted her with a sensitive part of myself, so she wouldn't feel misled or like I had ulterior motives. I think that's also why I didn't particularly try to hide this. I thought I was being dumb with consenting friends, and at worst, it was a little embarrassing, and my kink was probably one reason I liked the subject. So she encouraged it. She encouraged the jokes, according to him, and then later found an issue with it, like years later. I guess when it was brought up and it was a bit embarrassing for them, my partner read through what Emily posted and thought the tone was silly, not over the line, what's sexual or romantic for me. I trust her opinion on that more than my own. I was also evaluated by medical professionals about my shoe talk. Their view was that it was a way to feel close to a friend and an escape in times of high stress and tragedy. It would resurface whenever things got particularly bad. And here he goes showing when things got particularly bad. YouTube doesn't give sick days. Hope you don't mind all the foot jokes. I guess I just latched onto that after you told me about it. I'm not sure if it's sensitive subject for you or anything. Nah, it's fine. See, here she says Nah, it's fine. You're saying, nah, it's fine. And then all of a sudden this person becomes a creep. That's an asshole move, in my opinion. Okay, I thought about it more and I was like, ooh, hope she doesn't have a negative association with that or anything. Nah, it's all good. Also, hope your day's been good. Yeah, being forward with you cause I'd rather not keep anything from you and just let you make the best decision for you. I'm into that, but only on my significant other. Also thinks talking about shoes with people's cause is also an interest. This is one thing I read before. Because it's sexual. It's not sexual with my friends. It isn't just something I enjoy talking about with my friends too. I do not make lots to share, and I'm sorry if it is, but I feel it's best to be open with people and consider what I'd like to know if I was their position. No, I'm glad to know. Good to have openness and common understanding. Thank you. And again, still seeming good. Everything seeming positive. That's very kind of you to see it that way. I'm always about communication, even if it's about complicated stuff. Because why would you not tell your friends important things if you want to keep them in your life? A lot of people are not so kind about this sort of thing on the internet. Sorry to ping again, just won't be up too much longer, just thought I'd let them know. Here's what an uncut talk between us looked like as it transitioned into roleplay the next day. PS2 was in the console I remember first getting into. I feel like I missed a lot of Wii games. Really get into actual having a Wii. Surprising, I felt like I had one, usually alongside with the other two, so like I feel for you, I usually do. But if you're still coughing and sick, what do you need shoes for? I mean, yeah, if you want them, go for it. So she was egging it on. She was egging it on. This person was egging it on. It wasn't like, ew, nasty, stop talking to me. It was egging on the whole shoe talk. This is why it annoys me. Like, I don't know. This is what annoys me about people. They want to create kind of like this hatred towards somebody just because, I don't know, they had a falling out. And, you know, they claim to be friends at some point, and then they come out with stories on their end to make you seem really bad, and people believe it immediately until you come out with the receipts yourself. Damn, that's sexy. I mean, I'm sick. Far be it from me to keep up a fight. Is this a trick? Why would I trick you? Here are the shoes. They're normal shoes. No, here you go. You can use these for later for potential boss fights or enemy encounters. OF off, LMAO. I see you're just putting them back on like nothing happened or tormenting me. You were gonna give them up. I'm never going to give him up. And then it goes like the joke. Yeah, you're asking for it. You're even showing me up in my own stick. I'm warning you. Do your worst. See, they're continuing on. I didn't expect this tactic. Goes over and gives you a hug. Feels nice, hugs you tighter, not uncomfortably. Yeah, but also, dang, you got me. See, there's no like, oh, stop hugging me. Oh, let's stop doing this. None of that. They're just continuing on. You continue on, switch your legs from under you. The italic talk. Let's go as I do. You fall to the floor, grab onto your shoes, and yank them off, leaving you barefoot. I stand across the room from you. Ew, gross. Does it hurt knowing that's why they really look like? No, you can't do this to me. Oh, silly girl, I'm not. You won't be getting these back before your doctor's appointment. Enjoy explaining those feet to the doctor. Again, continuing the fun stuff. Who would undoubtedly be wanting to study them. I turn and run out the front door holding the shoes. Eat bad. You can't be seen like this in public. You need something to hide your feet with. But I took the 2 pairs of shoes. So... no, I will wrap them in a blanket, cocoon myself. And this, like he's saying, this is one tone of conversation that led to the roleplay. I think honestly that it reads pretty silly from both of us. I remember when this happened, I was just playing a video game and laughing to myself when she'd add to it because it was also out there and dumb. I cackled at her sticker star joke. My girlfriend wanted to add that Emily's decision to include personal information about her was greatly upsetting to her. Emily needlessly published the territory my girlfriend lives in. This was not public knowledge and did nothing to prove my point. Any point. In Emily's screenshots, I'm opening about having a girlfriend and told my significant other was fine with all of this. Our relationship had no bearing in any of this and would not need to be brought up. I also want to say that I never lied about how this was resolved privately. My original statement, I said, when you communicated this to me privately a few months ago, I apologized to you directly and promised I would never repeat this kind of behavior again with anyone else. I worded things that way to protect my friend who mediated, as involving others was something I wanted to avoid. I promised my friend I would never repeat this. We discussed it for hours. They told Emily how it went, and I sent Emily this apology. Talk to me about this. I apologize for everything I did. I will not reach out again. I am sorry. And that is not a bad way to apologize. It's an apology. For some people it's not enough, but it's an apology. I never claimed we had a conversation about it. I said it was communicated privately, which it was. I don't think a friend being there would contradict this. I don't retract an apology about hurting her or pestering her for a reply. Nothing I've said that I did that. Nothing said changes that I did that. I just felt it's important context was left out. Here's what I was working with and why I was so comfortable doing this. I kept asking if it was okay and kept doing it because she said she enjoyed it. I wanted to be open with someone I cared about rather than just assume, and gave her my word that I wouldn't go into sexual territory for myself. It still wasn't a good way to act. I just hope understandable how I could think this way. Being given the cues, I can absolutely understand that. Absolutely, I can understand that. Being given the weird cues that this person was giving off, I can absolutely understand how someone could be feeling that way. Due to autism spectrum disability, which I have as well, I struggle with understanding social cues or people's limits. I don't hide behind this as a shield from criticism, neither do I. I've learned to live with it. I've learned I could always trust myself to say the right thing or not take things too far due to my inability to see social situations the same way as other people. He couldn't always trust himself to not go too far. I can't always trust myself to not go too far. I do my best to try to prevent it, but I can understand what he's going through. Doctors have told me this is what happens with me. To make up for this weakness, I learned many years ago to be open with people, relying on permission, asking questions, and requesting others to tell me if something becomes too much. That's what I do with my friends. I tell them if it becomes too much, let me know right away and I will stop. If it becomes like I'm just bugging you too many times, if it becomes I'm being too strict with you, whatever it is, too mean, let me know. That is what I did with Emily, but despite that, she never once communicated that I said anything that made her uncomfortable until she was considering going public. Oh boy, don't I know this one. Same thing happened with me. No one communicated anything until they decided to go public with something. And that, as a person with autistic spectrum disability, it is frustrating because there were no signs, no open conversations. I know exactly how it feels to have a friend backstab you in public like this. Or someone you thought was a friend backstab you in public like this. I was confused when she started ignoring my messages. Don't do well with being ignored. It just makes me worry a lot about the other person because I do best with open communication. When I have nothing to work with, I can't really understand what someone is thinking. And in this case, I thought she liked how it was going. It is hard when you have high functioning autism to know what people are thinking just by body language. I don't translate body language very well, especially like if it's online language. Online like little hints aren't hints to me. They just go over my head. They absolutely do. And this is hard when you're dealing with anything, especially autism. Usually it leads me to be wishing each day will be the day I get to hear they're okay. I've learned how to repeated messages like this can be stressful to others. I did everything she wanted me to do, and everything once she told me she didn't like it, and I took it into my own hands to get mental help and learn more about my issues. It's perfectly fine to revoke consent or decide it's getting to be too much, but this wasn't told to me. When you revoke consent, you have to let people know. Otherwise, how would they know that you revoked consent? If you're still fine and happy and everything, I'm talking about like not being there. When it's nonverbal, when it's actually like you're there and you're pushing away, that's an obvious way of revoking consent. But I'm talking about here where there was no communication. How does he know that she doesn't like it anymore when she doesn't even say anything? In this case, I was told the opposite of that. This isn't the case of I only listened when I got caught. I did listen. Regarding Lolly, Lawly. There was a chat log shared between 2010 and when I was 19 about this. I am not a PDF. I am not a groomer. I was an idiot teenager who made dirty jokes. I have no intention of doing anything to this person, quite the opposite. In fact, this post is taking two separate things over a decade apart and showing them together. When I was a teenager, I said a lot of dumb things I shouldn't have. I'm 34 years old now and can't stand by anything I have typed long ago. I don't think anyone could. What I can do is tell you my intentions. To give an idea of how long that chat was, when I was 19, TRG didn't exist. I'd never appeared at a single convention. I hadn't started college. I still lived at home. I made videos as a hobby and wasn't professional. And I was working on my first Pokemon Let's Play. I don't think something that old should be treated as representative of the person I am now. In any sense, I was so long ago that I learned the contents of this log existed when you did. It was extremely hurt to be judged for something from so long ago, and the headline was worded like I assaulted somebody. The internet was a very different place then, and being facetious was everywhere. It was like our escape from censorship, and the edgier the better. Edginess, I can understand that. I can understand that to a certain extent. Just have to be very careful with the way you do it. It was easy to get caught up in the moment and say things I didn't mean when I was too young too. You need to look no further than my terrible old videos for the tasteless things I thought were hilarious at the age, or now sense of humor has changed. Or how internet culture as a whole has changed. It might be hard to imagine, but back then, people commonly threw around vulgar language. Yes, Modern Warfare 2 lobbies were that way. And joked about horrible things like it was nothing. Yes, they did. Some people were concerned about one part that I said, I'm going to blank you, and then said something about a video with a cat. This wasn't a serious conversation. It was a popular meme at the time, and I'm sure it was quoting a video. I remember all my friends quoting on a daily basis back then. It was the biggest thing ever. And there's the video right there that you can take a look at. You can, paste it on there. I'm not going to put it there because it probably has the R word a lot. And, as for the pedo crush line, yes, that's not good. I don't remember saying it. It was 14 years ago, probably a joke that was topical. P-Bear was an enormous meme at the time, which it was. And a joke stunking on P where in internet humor, L equals P, common joke, and giving her username an easy one. I definitely learned long ago. These sorts of jokes ain't cool and could be hurtful to victims. Society moved on from this time many years ago, as I have too. You can see the difference between then and now by looking at anything I type. Most of the rest of the chat is just boring talk about video games we like. Even at the time, if you still felt that the chat was still getting out of hand, I agree with you. The fact is I agreed with that when I was 19. Lolly said She doesn't know why our chats ended abruptly. I can tell you exactly why. It's because I disliked the direction of these chats and how young she was. I've told her this numerous times. After conversations, I took a step back and realized I could not continue. She would constantly initiate raunchy topics with my 19-year-old self. I was oblivious at first and thought it was funny as posting. I played off her behavior as a joke and thought of them as a friend as a dirty sense of humor, like many friends I had back then. Right here, fine, I possess you forever and talk to you, be like, I see dead people and blah blah blah, make you touch yourself in public, insert evil laughter here. That was all Lolly saying it. Chugga, why are all these things you do to me sexually? You really do want me. Facepalm. After a little while, things started to escalate and they got explicit. It made me realize they weren't being silly. They were romantically interested in me, not the other way around. The whole thing made me and my mother uncomfortable, and after deliberation, I not only rejected them, but I cut all contact with them. I actually talk about this in my log I posted, and our contact becomes a lot less frequent than that. You can see after this point, we go up to long periods of time without talking. I just tell her I'm busy or need to get going. I don't look exactly thrilled about this gift. Got it? Was waiting for you. Well, sorry, my stalker senses aren't tingling. My mom told me I'm not allowed to wear the shirt, though. Did not speak to this person for another 10 years. So they stopped this when they started seeing that there was some S-talk. There was some further talk that this shouldn't happen here. I agree with that. This should have been stopped. But the main thing is I agree it shouldn't have never even started. But he stopped it when he saw things were going a little too far. No intention of ever establishing contact. 10 years later, they approached me at a convention and was how we became friends again. I thought after that long, she was a new person and deserved a second chance. If you need more than just word of what was joking around was the one who stopped it, here's proof. It's me telling this story in 2021 and the reaction to it. The ages are slightly off due to fuzzy memory, but this was the event that caused me to cut contact. Based on my past rejection, I don't think we have to justify I wouldn't do to you. You rejected me. Okay, I was going to save this story for when we were in call, but I guess it's a topic, plus like it's been weeks. So that shirt you sent me, my mom found it soon after it and asked me why the heck I had something like that. I told her my friend sent me. She immediately goes, that girl that has a crush on you? No doubt about it. I go, well, she's 14. I was like 18 at the time. My mom told me I can't associate with that and that's dangerous. So I better keep my distance. As much as I like spending time with you, I chose to slowly fade out and hope you'd find someone else. That was why I fell out of your life for a few years. Oh, that makes sense. I was going to say you never told me you had a crush on me, like that kind of stuff. I knew at least, I was pretty sure of it. That crush on you, that she had a crush on him. I think I was a cop or something. I mean, I was pretty sure you were you, but I didn't want to hurt or abuse or, do anything bad in that situation. So regardless, it was a hard no for me. Honestly, as an adult, I can appreciate that you set a boundary. I'm glad. I was worried you wouldn't like me anymore back then because I was intentionally snubbing you. Since I just figured you were busy with life and moved on. Kind of had that as a passive excuse. I was hitting the big time around then. I always enjoyed spending time with you, but those ages, I wasn't going to let something like that develop on the other side. I wanted you to go find your people, like find other people for yourself. You're still a kid and wouldn't want to do that to you at that time. Another side of this is that I confided in them as a teen about a girl I liked at the time. It's not them. There's a girl who I think might like me, and I told her something last night. I swear to God, she got so risen up from the depression. Is she someone you know personally or just another fan? She started off as a fan. She's hopefully going to this thing in June that I'm going to be at for a few weeks. Pretty much all my friends are begging me to go for her in that time. You as an online love? Really don't know if she likes me or not, but I sort of suspect she might. So this was kind of a maybe type of situation. Was the humor not acceptable by today's standards? Sure, but this was all half my life ago now. I lack the experience I have now, and I think this shows I had no romantic or physical interest in them as a teen. And even back then, once I knew this wasn't a game to them, I rejected and backed off. It upset me when I learned that they wanted me. I put so many things they said into perspective and creeped me out, and I can see it when I read this log again. This was my learning experience from about when even jokes like this aren't a good idea, and I've never said anything like this to a minor in the 14 years since. I specifically remember telling my mom that leaving a friendship was the most caring thing for this person. Speaking as someone who suffered a lot as a kid, I have ground rules involving minors who have taken these sorts of things immensely seriously since. Of course, I read through it all, and to my surprise, she's the one who initiates the roleplay. She's the one who pretends to tickle my feet, and goes much further than that too. She was the origin of it, at least in this chat. I don't know if she was where I got the idea from, but it's possible. I guess it's neither here nor there. Didn't know it was 19 into that at 19 anyways. The next point is something I was unsure about publishing for months. I hate that this is relevant, and I wouldn't be sharing this if they didn't post anonymously. Cut contact with them thinking that they had an innocent crush that needed to stop. I was more worse than that. I was disturbed to find that they admitted in these old chats their goal was to manipulate me into having sex with them. There were 2 separate times they told me the story, as well as time briefly touched on it. I will touch on what she said here. When I was underage, I wanted to F an older guy so badly. So she wanted to have underage relations with somebody. So she was trying to manipulate him. Knowing that he was, well, the way that he was. This is wrong. This is absolutely wrong. This is in so many ways wrong. It just happened. All the predators around me were inept as F, and I just trolled them for being thirsty. Oh my god, oof, I'm very thankful you didn't end up with any of those. Holy S. He really did. Thankfully, I have no sexual attraction to people unless I love them, and all the thirsty weirdos didn't do it for me. And I was and am an a-hole, so literally just effed with them. Absolutely, I would not have let you do that regardless of how well we got along. Younger me would have been disappointed. Current me appreciates it. I chat with Lolly again. Oh yeah, and I'm as well. Unrelated statement. I also remember you were really off-put by my age, but I was like, I don't see the problem because we talked to younger girls being, so I was like, legitimately, you told me a story, kind of messed up. Honestly, a miracle to look that advantage as a kid. Say it is, you're very fortunate in that way. Like, I wanted an older dude really badly when I was a kid too. Like, literally had a goal to have underage blank, and was depressed when I turned 16. Man, I'm so happy you never got hurt back then. So happy. Right? They're the luckiest person alive. I think the whole picture here changes everything about their side of the logs. Their framing of the events made me look like the predator, really upset when I saw this again. Regardless of some jokes on a screen, this is a real tragedy I prevented happening. I refused to be their friend for so much less than their actual motive. It wasn't just me either. They said they targeted multiple other adults for this. My feelings about this are complicated. It's horrible in so many ways that they wanted to use me for underage blank and then frame it like I was preying on them, some text 14 years ago, but I also feel for them when I think about how bad their situation probably was. As for modern day stuff they showed me, there was after more than a decade of no contact, I had only vague recollections of what our conversations were back then. And the years into this new friendship, I was asking if, as adults, they wanted a text roleplay but spicy. I was forward about that, so they wouldn't think I just wanted silly stuff like I remembered us doing. For the record, I was single, and they were fine with me asking. I wasn't in a good headspace when I asked for them for roleplay stuff. It was the worst year of my life. I think I just wanted to feel close to someone I cared about in that loneliness. Then she told me she missed the roleplay, so I thought natural to ask. Plus, by that point, we'd been friends again for years. It was 12 years since I cut contact. I didn't even remember most of our old talks, and we put awkward past behind us. So any bad implications weren't exactly there for me, save for the time they ran into me as an adult. I've only ever known this person online. Nothing else ever happened. This was the first time I'd asked them for anything since I learned what I liked. More on that in a second. If Lolly is reading this, I'm sorry I made you hurt. I don't think I've said changes that. I mean it. Though I guess I'm surprised at this. We were friends up until this. I got along better as adults, and I was glad to have you in my life without an inappropriate crush. It was basic knowledge to both of us that you were the one who wanted me, and I shut it down. Even apologized last year for asking for roleplay stuff, and you said you forgave me and considered me a true friend. I don't really know what you were thinking. I didn't even remember these chats, so I was generally confused when you would even be speaking out about it when I heard it was you. It hurt a lot to see you say that you don't know if you ever considered me a real friend. I told you that you were awesome, funny, and smart. A lot. We got each other through difficult times. You were a bright spot in my darkest time, and I admired you for it. I spent your birthday with you. You mattered to me so much, and we just had a nice conversation about how much we care about each other right before this, too. I want you to know that I cried when I wrote this because it was a moment where it really hit me that I would never speak to you again. The hardest part of it was going through our chats to find proof of my intentions. In doing so, I opened a time capsule of a beautiful friendship that doesn't exist anymore and saw all the very real ways we helped each other. I wish you talked to me about it. I would have listened. I saw you as a friend for life. Please don't get angry at the person. And the chat logs, they just wanted context. But this is really messed up. This person twisted things around because, I don't know, they were angry or something. I've had that happen to me, where people twist things when they're angry, put out docs like this when they're angry, and it's never good. It's not a good look for the person. It's not a good situation to be in. Me at 19. I have something else that speaks where my mind was at 19. I didn't want to open up about this at any point, but it's part of this now. I mentioned in the past that I didn't live the happiest childhood. Due to an especially traumatic time when I was assaulted as a child, I was left unable to enjoy blank until my adult life. The idea of anything in that way beyond edgy teenage jokes on the internet was foreign to me at 19, and I think the awkwardness shows it. While I may not know why I sent every little instant message 14 years ago, I know the state of my body and mind were at the time, how I struggled with comprehending anything blank, and how it hindered my attempts at relationships. Even with people I was comfortable dating, I struggled with concepts like them seeing me naked or enjoying blank for years after that. You can see this in my videos with how inept I was at knowing about blank for so long, or I could say unfortunate things and not know it. Perhaps this is also why I didn't shut things down sooner, and how I didn't think of what their overly sexual messages could mean, besides people just being dumb as F at 19. I had no experience or understanding of sexual situations. It took my mom pointing it out for me to see what was going on. I just matched the vibe of my funny friend until it became too much, and then I left. Because of this accusation, I had to explain what I went through as a kid to several friends who wanted an explanation. It was humiliating and excruciating to relive with them, so this person made them relive past trauma. This fucking sucks. This is really bad. and I cried every time. I was trying to essentially train myself to publicly tell every detail, but it became clear after enough hard cries and nightmares that I wouldn't be able to do that and be okay. It brought me back to terrible places I thought I was done with. I was doing so well, not letting it affect me for years, and now it been dredged all up. And now I'm here, I'm telling you, I'm out here forever. I'm sorry, it's a lot. It's humiliating to tell you even this much. In order to be believed, I have to tell everyone about my childhood trauma, my blank life, my health issues, my breakup, when I'm in therapy, my mental ward, how my accuser wanted to use me for blank, and how I almost died because of this. It's extremely painful to talk about. People think they owed that from me. And no one will listen if I just say I didn't mean that. I was only a teenager. This is the price I paid to show I wasn't preying on someone. I refuse to call it a win that I could explain myself in this way. I didn't win when I went through that. You don't win when you have to go through your traumas again in order to not be hated. After my recent psychological training, I think my childhood trauma is how I went through so much of life, thinking there was a clear line between my kink and my interest in shoes. Also, just how normal the roleplay felt. I had only my interest for most of my life. My role-playing started innocently long before I enjoyed anything physical or I even knew I had a kink. All I knew for a long time was I think shoes are funny, and I didn't think it was particularly strange that I worked with them in stories or talked about them so much. I would act out stories about my own shoes when I was little, and it just never really stopped doing things like that. It also where a lot of my sense of humor was always been, and it really just a joke for many years. The realization that there could be some crossover happened much later in life. I compartmentalized a lot of things when it was sexual and when it wasn't, probably because I did it for so long without a kink and thought it would be go separating these things by not saying anything arousing for me. It was just very messy and flawed logic for a lot of reasons and intertwined with something I struggled to make sense of. Definitely needed psychiatric help for this, and I'm really sorry to everyone I hurt because of it. Enjoying myself is still a problem at 34, depending on how much I'm reminded of my past. My ability to enjoy it has only existed for a few sections of my life. I still go months to years without it. I wouldn't even say the kink I mentioned is that strong these days. It's been a long time since I last enjoyed it. It's also associated with my trauma now, so I don't think I'll be into that again for a long time. So now they took away something else that he likes, which is messed up. When looking at the full picture of accusations, I want to take this moment and say I've never assaulted or threatened anyone. Every single thing shown was my entirely in text messages and in fiction. It went no further than that. I feel this wasn't acknowledged much in the heat of all this. I guess it's all pretty weird. I don't think I deserve to nearly be driven to blank to end himself, to have so many personal details revealed, or to watch the health of people I love decline, and then for the harassment to continue after it got to this point, especially when I took it seriously long before anything became public. I also absolutely made the right decision to leave that toxic friendship that wasn't fair to Lolly, and I already made that choice 14 years ago to this month. Every single issue here was already resolved privately long ago. My visit to the mental ward, of course, warning, this is a trigger warning for, talk of game ending, health issues, cherry juice. I will be vulnerable with you here as I hope it might help someone. Seeing this online speculation about me unfold caused me so much stress. I lost 8 pounds in a week, developed internal bleeding, and was in the ER for blood loss. I would use the bathroom and then lose feeling in my hands. Even worse, when they kept needing to take more of this every day to test me, my existing health issues that were worsened by the situation. They had to put me on medication to knock me out every night, and I'm still dependent on it. Shortly after you last heard from me, I had dreams and thoughts about ending everything. I felt I didn't deserve to live, that my life was already over. My mother's high blood pressure was exacerbated by my ideations, and her health worsened too. She was in the ER twice, and I only just recently started to recover. When I first called my mom about it, she asked me to hang up and call the state prevention hotline. Some kind of folks came to my home, told them my side of it, and they placed me in a mental ward for my own protection. Spent a night in a holding facility, waiting for care at one point, which was the worst night of the entire ordeal. It was 4 concrete walls, not properly heated, all alone with my own thoughts of how I wanted to blank. All started to get better after that. Everyone on the inside was kind to me and didn't judge. They understood how people could misconstrue several things about me. It wasn't easy though. I cried for my friends many times, not able to know how many of them still liked or cared about me. While in care, I learned I hadn't been mentally well for a while, and understand some things about myself. Something my friends were worried about before this all happened. I found out that I had undiagnosed psychiatric depression, and a chemical deficiency in my brain. I explained a lot about my life up to this point. I'm not sharing this as an excuse. It's an explanation. I can feel for the guy because I also have clinical depression and things like that. It's not something that can just disappear on you. You do need to get medicated the whole time. Anxiety is the same way. I can stay bitter sad about this for years. Handled crises poorly, and the text roleplay behavior would crop up times as crisis. Now medication for this depression. Heck, just being aware of it made it worse. So much easier to know what to do in the act. Like now he knows what to do in the act. As a result of my training and reflection, I realized social knowledge is what I was lacking. Another behavior that got me into trouble was that a conversation went far into a topic and the other person said they were fine with it. That would become the new limit. I thought that as long as I explained myself and got an okay, we were all good. This follows logic, and I can see why I believe this, but I understand now that depending on the person, it can be too much if we go there again and again. That's something that I've had to learn too. I have to learn this with every single person I meet because I will sometimes go too far. Because again, autism, the high level autism can do that, make you go too far. And because I don't see social interactions the same way as everyone else does. I don't perceive them the same way. My mind just doesn't. It just looks at logic and doesn't look at small social cues. At least my mind doesn't. I want to thank another patient in the psych ward for pointing this out, and I get stuck in mental loops during a crisis that helped me snap out of it. I am the exact same way. I get stuck in mental loops, and it makes my anxiety go to 15 out of 10. If you're reading this, Destiny, you really helped me, and I only wish you were here sooner because you put into words, though it finally got through to me. I think I need to go back in a time to talk about my mental health. Back in 2021, I went through many hardships all at once, and it still stands as the worst year of my life. I tried getting psychiatric help, but the mental health industry was overrun due to the pandemic, and I was denied help at every turn. At one point, it took my healthcare 9 months to get back to me, only to be told, sorry, there's nothing available. Similarly, I was physically cut off from everyone I knew and lived alone in my house for months. The only help I could get in this is 2021 at all was the phone service that sponsors YouTubes, and honestly, it didn't work and now have a low opinion of it. They didn't help me figure out my behaviors. It was just, are you suicidal? Are you this way? And I'm sorry to hear that. They even encouraged my role playing with friends as a fix for the hardships I was going through. That's how I got back into it after a long time, and it pushed me to ask Lolly as an adult. I'd had a few bad years, and I think I just made some bad calls. My counselor there didn't know about the internet, only listened to me after a few months, and then recommended I leave to the schedule could fit into more blank people. I didn't realize until 2023 how cruel this was, or that I still had lasting trauma from 2021 until a friend told me I wasn't okay. I think all of this had a lasting impact. I was operating on the last 3 years without psychiatric help I really needed. That is very dangerous. That is super dangerous. That is something you should never do. You should always get psychiatric help. Always. Now, the last part, how he's been. He's been out of the psych ward. He left home. We went to live with his girlfriend. Basically, he was doing things, saying that she's caring. She helped him make up for the mistakes he made years ago. Knew what decisions were healthy and never stopped believing that I wasn't the same person any longer. You're the greatest. She has a girlfriend right now who's helping him a lot. As soon as I felt stable, I took care of her because the situation affected her a lot too. All of this wasn't fair to her, and I helped cause it for both our sakes. I cannot and will not make a mistake like this again. I work hard every day, so that's good. He's working hard every day to make sure our future together can be a happy, comfortable life. We had a particularly memorable night where I opened up about all the timeline that got me here. I cried a lot, but by the end of it, we were acting like things were normal again, laughing and making fun of each other. It was a big turning point. I think it was the moment I finally forgave my past self. Really important. I didn't get another job, but instead live as a house husband, making sure everything was taken care of for her. My care made me better chef and got me greater understanding of what she's always done for me. I had some struggles with spending every waking moment writing down video ideas because it was the only routine I knew. My girlfriend liked that I was passionate about something at first, but later worried because it would put pressure on me to consider a return to videos. She was right, but stopping was an especially difficult thing to do. The craft had been so much in my life up to this point, and I always loved the joy it brings to others. It gave me a strong purpose. It just kind of sat around for days not knowing what to do with myself if he didn't do this. About 2 months to being gone from the internet, I began wishing I would, die again. I didn't want to do it myself anymore, but I felt like it would bring an end to my suffering, that I could rest easy believing that. I felt like without my ability to entertain, I had no place in the world. Seeking healthcare where I was staying was difficult, my condition was worsening, and I realized I needed to come home. A lot of you may help living in places like this, but there wasn't a problem. But the added stress of tremendous medical bills didn't help my health either. Sadly, this meant my partner and I couldn't see each other for a long time. We're long distance and the situation was so taxing on her health that she needed medical leave from work. All this broke right at the start of a visit to my girlfriend. This trip was meant to be extra special because we were 1 day away from getting on a plane to go on a vacation where she would have met all of my friends for the first time. And this was to be the trip where we would have figured out our long-term future living together. Instead, I spent half the visit preparing a statement and the other half in a mental ward while she sat home with my friend Tim. I didn't even get to say goodbye because I was still in the hospital when she flew home and was forcibly placed into a ward with no visitors. So this person did some evil stuff. Like the person who did this to him did some evil stuff. This meant she used up all her vacation time on a trip we didn't get to go see. Once I needed to come home from seeing her, we didn't know when we could meet again. It's been hard when we were using visiting often before and we had a whole visit taken away from us at the last second. Timing of this could not have been worse. It actually kept me from seeing the person I love. I still don't know when I can see her again. There was one night during this time when I called a friend and she said something unintentionally harsh things about me and the situation. I was in tears and I felt like there was no use to even trying to explain myself anymore. My girlfriend got loud for the very first time. I'd never heard her, and it told me I'm not a bad person, that people will only have one side of this, that every person I've talked to still was good, and most people will see reason, and that's what I do too. Most people will see reason. I have the best community, and they're probably just waiting for my side, that she loves me and our cat loves me, and you can't fake that she's sick of seeing me cry, and that I didn't deserve this much punishment when I took this so seriously before anything was even made public. It was amazing. Every step of this, everyone told me I wish I could just say something to make this better. No one else could, but she figured it out. And he's moving forward with his life, as he's showing here. I'd like to make an ode to my friends. Several reached out the night I came home from the hospital. They didn't want to be alone, and I believed I was a good person. Heck, I think some of you believed I was more innocent than I did. It took me a while to see this your way. I love you all, my friends. Even if you were critical of me, I cannot bring myself to not love you. Some of it was things I already agreed with, some of it was things I needed to hear, and some of it was telling me this wasn't as bad as I thought. I want to thank my best friend Tim Nintendo Capri Sun. He handled so many decisions in all of this for me when I was not well enough to make decisions for myself. He cooked for me every day when I wasn't allowed near knives. I think you saved me. Please support him all you can. I didn't say this last time. I'm so sorry for the heartache, and I worry I caused my friends and caused you. I worked hard every day to make sure I would never make you feel like this again and could be dependable once more. I really didn't mean to do harm here, and I feel I've learned about myself in ways I didn't know I needed to. These are positive things. Regardless, my clarifications and context, I definitely still made mistakes and learned lessons, as well as learned new things about how my mind works. I don't want to get carried away and make it sound like I'm 100% blameless. I needed psychiatric help for my depression and roleplay behavior. I took your criticism of my person seriously, and I am forever working every day to ensure nothing like this could ever happen again. It will not happen again. I'm a fan of numbers, so let me show you. Since privately confronted about this, I, 1, saw my therapist 6 times before anything was made public, completed 11 behavioral health sessions with a psychologist, which is good, continuing to do so for the foreseeable future, 5 nights in a mental ward, and have met with doctors twice since then, read numerous medical articles to understand my conditions better and how to avoid mistakes, have never missed a dosage of 4 medications and supplements that better regulate my brain activity. It's really good not to miss doses. Really good not to miss doses. Have never wanted to roleplay again, feel more self-aware and cognizant at any point in my life up to this point. I can be absolutely certain I would not ever disappoint you like this again, and I say knowing you will hold me to a higher standard than ever. I have always and will continue to give my all to my psychiatric help I sought out. In my mind, nothing after my apology changed, that I meant every word and was already in the process of making good on all of this. Months before anything went public, some of these I learned and grew from many years ago. I would have been there to tell you this sooner had my mental trauma not kept me from it. I needed to heal. Just because I know it will come up, I have to be real. This whole experience was harmful to my health. I'm not sure that I can even want this job anymore. I don't know if the life I would have if I started making videos again would be anything I would like. And it sucks to admit that about something I had such a passion for. It's something that I would have to think about for longer. What creative energy I had would always go towards this and not some fun video I wanted to make. I cared more about telling my side of it, fixing my problems, and improving my mental health. I'm in no state to perform, so don't expect me to show up at events. I think many of you will still have criticisms of me, and I anticipate many jokes at my expense too, and that's okay. I wouldn't have come here today if I didn't accept that. Thank you, that's all I wanted to say. Please call the prevention hotline in your area if you're struggling. So here's the thing. These people lied. These people exaggerated things. These people, as I have had experience with, selectively choose things that make them look better. Selectively choose things that make them look like the victim. At no way in time that I saw on these things that he showed, did they ever actually say, I am not comfortable with this. The moment he found out through a third person, so he didn't even find out directly through them, he found out through a third person, that's when he apologized and he cut contact. So he did what he needed to do. Like I said, if you at some point feel uncomfortable, always let someone know, especially if someone has autism spectrum disorder, in the higher areas, like higher functioning. Like I have to have people tell me all the time, it's like, that was a little too far, that joke was a little too much, you went a little too far with that joke, etc., etc. Or like, you're really not getting it, you're very dense. I'm dense because I have autism too. That's why I can very much commiserate with this person, because I have autism too. It makes it really hard to figure out what people are saying, what they mean behind the words. People have to be direct with me because I'm direct with them. If they're direct with me, then that's when I know. And I have friends who are not a part of an echo chamber who do tell me directly all the time. It's like, you're going too far with this. This is too much. You need to kind of hold back. And that's what I want to say. You know, be patient with people. I'm glad that Chuggaconroy actually went out and made this statement. I'm covering this statement because it's very important to see both sides. Everyone right now has just seen, you know, the sides of, oh, he's a perv, oh, he's this, oh, he's that. Look at everything that's gone on with him. Look at every single thing he said. Yes, as a 19-year-old, you should have never, ever talked to a 14-year-old. 18-year-old, never 14-year-old. Never. Just stop talking the moment you found out they're underage. Just stop talking immediately. That's what you should do. but he didn't. And he regrets that. Of course, he takes responsibility for that, which is very important. But she admitted that she wanted to have underage relations with him. And that in and of itself makes it kind of like a catfishing almost thing, like you know, manipulation and that type of thing. And then she, you know, she basically gaslit everybody, make herself looking like the victim. That's really messed up. Anybody that he did victimize, he apologized for, and he got help for that, which is important. It's not right that anybody was victimized, but that's the thing I want to say. Thank you so much for being here. This is the Mad Salvi. Comment down below. Of course, there are my socials down below, which is my YouTube. Would love you if you subscribed. My Discord, my Twitch, all that stuff. You're going to love it all. I think you're going to really enjoy every single bit of it. I appreciate you. This is the Mad Salvi. This is Salvi the Blue Squirrel saying I will see you guys next time. And let me know what you think down below. Bye-bye.